Welcome, beautiful soul. It's time to remember who we are. You were born for this moment, this breath. Nature teaches us and reminds us that whatever it is that we are searching for, that whatever our hearts and souls are longing for, we must know our unlimited power and worth. It's all already within us. So thank you for saying yes to this moment. Thank you for saying yes to this journey. And most of all, thank you for saying yes to yourself. Welcome, beautiful soul. Welcome, beautiful soul. I am so grateful that you are giving your time, your space, your energy to be with us today. We are talking about something that I definitely have first-person experience in. I believe many of you probably do too. And it's around this idea of resisting. And so today we're going to talk about what happens when we resist what is. Life is always unfolding. And we have choice, we have power, and when we choose to resist, there's a reality that we're opening up and there's a reality that we're closing all at the same time. So we're going to talk about what happens when we resist what is. First, I want to invite you to join us for our wonderful time to pause and breathe. So if you are able to, go ahead and close your eyes and join me as we simply pause all of the noise in our head and we drop down into our body, into our inner heart, our soul, our essence, and we begin to connect with breath. So simply breathe right now without needing to change it. Breathe. Notice your own inhale and exhale as it moves through your body. Because it's so automatic, we often never put our attention on our breath. And this time is a reminder that when we do put our attention on our breath, it's such a powerful way for us to reconnect and recalibrate, recenter, return to our inner peace and our inner harmony by simply breathing. Every inhale, imagine it's filling you with all of the nutrients and nourishment. Everything that's for you. And picture the exhale as the expansion of all of those nutrients moving through you and the releasing of anything that is no longer needed. Anything we've accumulated knowingly and often unknowingly, we simply let it go. Whatever may be competing with our peace, our centering, our grounding, Whatever has us distracted, worried, scared, angry, we simply let it go. And because nature is such a beautiful mirror for our own lives, because we are all connected as one life, think about how every exhale is the release of the carbon dioxide that all of the plant life and vegetation and trees and everything green absorbs, while also providing us with the oxygen. That is so essential for our life. This beautiful, massive, lovely, constantly interconnected ecosystem that we are part of here on this planet Earth. And it's something so simple as breath that connects us to the all, beyond our individual selves. As you continue to breathe, notice how the inhale and the exhale are so calming for us. Breath is a beautiful way to activate our parasympathetic system, to calm our nerves, slow down our heartbeat, and provide space so we can see the contrast between all the swirl and the noise outside of us and sometimes inside of us, and we're able to drop down to the beautiful inner peace that's accessible within us. And so we breathe as a practice. As a reminder that we are more than our physical selves. We are lovely energy. We are a beautiful soul. So I invite you now to do a 5-5-5 breath with me. And all that means is that we will inhale together for 5 seconds. And then we're going to hold that breath the same way we hold in the air of a balloon. And just hold the breath for 5 seconds. And then we're going to exhale slowly for 5 seconds. So go ahead and join me for a nice deep inhale as we fill up for 5. And now hold that breath. And slowly let it go. And as you continue to keep your eyes closed, if you're able to safely do so, return to normal breathing. And simply notice if you're able to invite in more ease, more compassion, as we expand our openness to hear all that is for us, to receive all that is for us, to connect with the fullness of who we truly are. So when you're ready, you can slowly come back and open your eyes if you've closed them. Ooh, I always say that breath is just a delicious, delightful, powerful way for us to remember that there's so much going on that's beyond what our eyes can perceive. And the place that we want to connect to remember who we are, is right within us. That lovely inner essence, that inner soul, that inner heart. And breathing is such a beautiful gateway, pathway, doorway for us to be reminded that we can slow it down and pause and come home to who we really are. We're talking about resistance today. We're seeing so much happening around us, and many people have opinions and thoughts and beliefs about it all. And we may have thoughts and opinions and beliefs about it all. And today I want us to pause all of that, because we're going to talk about a different dimension of resisting what is. So I talk often about growing up and being ushered and guided to live a life that outwardly would look like the norm, that outwardly would meet definitions of accomplishment and success, not so much in my own eyes, but in the eyes of what I was conditioned to believe. And ultimately, it began to change how I saw myself and saw everything else around me. So maybe you grew up in a similar way, or maybe you grew up open and you were able to explore and flow and be exactly who you are now, the essence of that. For me, it was much more restricted, and I had so many more layers to peel through to find that. And so that's what I talk often about, this journey of coming home, that we're all on a collective journey here on planet Earth. We're all moving on this planet without even realizing it. And we're on a unique journey that is designed for us. It's tailor-made for us to learn, to grow. And each of those unique journeys are so interconnected, because ultimately we are all energy. Now, what does this have to do with resistance? So backing up to imagining having been told to live your life a certain way, to have it all kind of like mapped out before you, and buying into that idea, buying into that map, and thinking that if I continue along the road that's been laid out perfectly for me, which only requires, and I'm putting only in air quotes, only requires for me to not rock the boat, to do what I'm told, to follow what everyone else says, to not create any ripples, keep it smooth. However, when I began to notice this pattern of following everyone else, deep down within me, and again, I'm wondering if you can relate, you can share it with me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. That I began to have this knot of resistance, this knot of tension. And that resistance was slowly simmering. And you know, like any pot left on the stove, slowly simmering, can still reach a point of boiling. You can have it on the lowest temperature, and over time, there's still the heat that can ultimately cause all of the water to evaporate. It's a different kind of boiling. Sometimes it boils over like a volcano. Sometimes it just boils by all of the steam just leaving, and you're left with the burn. And I have experience in all of that. I have experience with that slow simmer of being agitated, that I have been always told what to do, that as I began to slowly give myself permission to ask questions, my questions were filled with a simmering annoyance and bitterness and resentment and anger and frustration, because I felt like I had been pushed and pushed and pushed. And what I tell clients today is that if anyone pushes you, you are designed to eventually push back. Some of us push back sooner than others. And so then I began a pattern of duality, looking as though I'm following all of the steps, but inwardly pushing and resisting. And what's interesting about the kind of pushing and resisting I was doing is that it was so unconscious. I didn't understand why I was so agitated sometimes when things wouldn't go my way. I didn't understand why if someone asked me to do things after a while, I just immediately wanted to say no. Because I had reached a point of depletion. That simmering energy had evaporated all of everything that was false, but it felt like it evaporated all of me. And so a little bit of my truth was seeping out with all that was untrue. That's how the depletion began to look. So when we resist over and over and over, eventually we just began to resist everything, including what is for us, what is nourishing for us. We can begin to resist even that, because it's a pattern that I felt pushed, and so now I'm pushing back. But if I'm constantly pushing back against everything, I'm also pushing back against what may be helpful and beneficial. So we can push back in a relationship and think that now I'm standing up for who I am. But if we're still just pushing, we're still on the other side, apart from our truth. Our truth is our center. And guess what? When we're in our truth, when we're in our place of harmony, there's no need to push. We simply are. That's the first sign that I'm outside of my center. If I'm annoyed and I want to push back and I want to resist. Because our center is designed to be able to accept what is. Hear me clearly through a spiritual lens. I'm not talking about accepting abuse and suffering and pain as the norm and the status quo. I am saying we must look clearly. We're invited, better way to say it, to look clearly at what is. And when we're in the pattern of pushing and resisting, we are also in the pattern of denying. And we don't want to look at what is. I personally, whenever I didn't like something, I wanted to skip over it and get to the other side as quickly as possible. That's another form of resisting. It just looked different. It looked as though on the outside I'm acquiescing and I'm going with this outer flow. So I was trying to please people on the outside and acquiesce outwardly, when inwardly I just wanted to get over it and get to the other side. It's the pushing, it's the resisting against what is. And in relationships, when we keep pushing against what is, we are squeezing out the oxygen of our truth. So notice the feeling of resistance. Notice the agitation. Notice the annoyance. And then ask yourself, what else may I be hiding from? What's the real truth that's inviting me to come closer, to dive into? What have I really been running from? You notice it when you're on the road, when you're driving. And maybe you've had the experience of being late for an appointment. And maybe you've had the experience of driving a little faster than you normally do. And maybe you have the annoyance that when you hit a red light, you're even more annoyed. Or someone cut in front of you and then now you miss the red light. Or you miss the green light and you're at the red light. So notice, what does that do to us? Do we feel like so agitated and annoyed? And I tell you, it has nothing to do with the late appointment or the driver in front of you or the stoplights. These are all signs that something deep within us is out of harmony and out of sync. We are out of harmony with our truth on a deeper level, because when we really know who we are, when we fully know who we are, there's not a fear of accepting what is. So maybe I need to accept today I'm running late. Accept it. I haven't learned how to spend time. So since time is a construct, I might as well breathe and accept what is. I am running late. The car in front of me is driving slower than I would like. My agitation with even those small things only serve to grow the simmer in us, to evaporate all of the water and the oxygen, to leave us with the burn, the scorched pan of believing that all of my issues are because of things going outside, because of politics, because of someone else's behavior, because of someone else's decision, because of someone else's choice. And it's real easy to look at that. It's because of my childhood. It's because of, and those things may have factors. I'm not saying they don't have factors, but I'm saying when we put all of the attention at it, it's because of all of this outside of us. What we're failing to see is our own power and who we really are and our deeper why. Why am I here to experience this? What is it showing me? What am I learning? Pause and accept what is. Accept that it hurts, that it's uncomfortable, that I don't like it. Now ask myself why. What is this really revealing? Is there more than what meets the eye? Is there more going on within me beneath the surface? Am I out of harmony in another aspect of my life? Am I still operating under an old software, an old conditioning system? Am I still denying my own joy, my own peace? Am I still trying to fit in to an old form of who I think I am? That has nothing to do with the driver in front of me or the other person in the relationship. It has to do with me. And we hold the key to begin to do the excavating, the peeling, the digging into what's my true why? Who am I really? Because can I tell you, every bit of our suffering is tied to resistance. Every bit of it. Resisting what is. Because the fear is that if I accept what is, I'm giving permission to what is. Resisting prolongs it. But our fear says if I accept it, then I'm condoning it. I'm giving it a rubber stamp of approval. No, accepting what is the first step so that we can do what we did in the beginning, breathe. Breathe and then listen. Listen to what our signs are showing us and then ask, what's the real truth? Am I ready for the real truth? Sometimes we don't want to hear it. Sometimes we're trying so hard to complain and make noise because we don't want to deal with the hard part of acknowledging that I co-created many times what I'm trying to resist. I co-created the uncomfortable, unhealthy relationship. I co-created the vocation that I thought was for me but really isn't. I co-created living in accordance to what someone else told me to do when it's not my truth. We sanction so much. And the question I want us to ask is, what I'm sanctioning, is it actually in harmony with who I am? Is it my truth? Or am I simply just going with the flow? Am I going with what other people have told me? Am I operating under an old knowledge system? We have choice. So I want you to begin to give yourself permission joyfully to do that pause, do the inner listening, and then come home to what is for you by accepting what is. And then I can decide, do I want to co-create something new? Behold, all things are new. Today is a new moment, a new opportunity. Each breath is new. You don't breathe the old breath in, you breathe in new breath. And that's where your power is, that once I accept what is, now I can breathe, tune into my inner truth, and ask myself, what is next? What is for me? What do I want to choose now? What delights me? What inspires me? What do I want to imagine? Doors open when we accept and listen. And when we're guided by our inner truth inside and out, even if that means we're starting from scratch, we're starting with a new language, learning the alphabet, treating it as new, treating our journey as new with each breath. We don't know what's around the corner until we tap into who we really are. And that's when you begin to get those divine little hints and sometimes big divine visions. It means being open and letting go of all that we are resisting. Resistance is rooted in a fear. And when we're operating in fear, we're operating outside of who we really are, as light, as hope, as peace, as presence. That's who we really are. So when we're resisting, breathe and come home to ask yourself, what is it that I'm now ready to see? What is my inner truth? Who am I really? And how can I begin to choose my words, my intentions, my thoughts, my actions in harmony of who I am as I go forward, co-creating, breathing, one breath, one breath, one breath, one breath at a time. Thank you so much for your time with us today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I am so grateful for you being who you are, beautiful soul.
Thank you, beautiful soul, for remembering who we are and for making time and space to be with us today. As you go forward on your journey to the known and unknown places, continue to listen to your inner heart and honor your soul, because your answers are always within you. Please consider supporting us in spreading more light and love with this message by simply liking the video below, subscribing, and consider sharing as well. Most of all, take gentle care and breathe. We see you. We thank you, beautiful soul.